standing in the midst of a lot of equipment. It's nicely organized for remote delivery. It was accidental almost 2 years ago, but it's proved the test of time. We do these sessions to audience from Asia Pac all the ways into the Americas. And of course, we do a little bit in the EMEA time zone as well. So focus in on the pro, but before sort of set one thing to one side is that we position the products today as agnostic when it comes to meeting platform. So whether you get a Webex invite, which is what we're on right now, or a Zoom invite, or a Teams invite, or even where we're at now with a Google Meet invite, our devices can join those meeting platforms. Yes, there are integration points along the way. Probably the most open one is Google. There is no licensing or any requirements involved in there. That was announced probably 2 months or whatever back. So if you look at the user interfaces of our devices now, they've all got Google Meet button on them. So if you look at the Google Meet invite, it's got about 10 lowercase characters at the end of the invite. You push that into the user interface on whichever device you have in front of you, and you go straight into a Google meeting. If you happen to have your Desk Pro set up in personal mode and you receive the same invite, you'll get the green button to push popping up on your Desk Pro, but it has to be in personal mode. And from a Zoom perspective, somebody within the meeting has to have a CRC connector. So when you have the CRC connector, gosh, can't remember what the acronym stands for, but Ben is nodding his head, so he clearly understands what I'm talking about. So you get the green button to join popping up on the devices, the one button to push, and then you're familiar with the device. You can either tap and go, or you can use our friend's Webex Assistant to join those meetings. The same applies to Teams. The integration points are different with Teams because we are part of the vendor communities that are certified to connect into what's called Microsoft Cloud Video Interop environment, or as we call it in Cisco terminology, video interoperability for Microsoft Teams. And everything is managed by the meeting platform, and the endpoints join that meeting platform. And then the additional good news is that the devices don't lose their personalities. You know, whatever they can do in a WebEx call, they can do in the other call types as well, including if one of the devices was a whiteboarding device like the Desk Pro or the WebEx boards, they can whiteboard into that meeting. Under normal circumstances, anybody within that meeting, that's say on a WebEx, on a Teams device, for example, can't whiteboard back because the whiteboarding is the custodian of the WebEx platform. So all of the devices are registered to the WebEx platform like you've got today, and then the controller of those sessions is the meeting platform. So whatever the meeting platform can do, that doesn't change. What we've enabled for our endpoints to join those meetings. So, and I'll just do, it's quicker to me to show you Microsoft Teams, but yeah, it's probably the more difficult integration point. But if I'm joined that meeting from a Cisco endpoint and somebody else has started that meeting from their laptop, they want to share content to that meeting, they have no idea what endpoint the other end is on, I can see that content. And then depending on whether you're on a single screen Cisco device or a dual screen Cisco device, depends on how things get laid out. So you don't lose, like I'm on a quad cam sitting on top of a Codec Pro right now, and I'm using speaker tracking. That's why you'll probably be aware, that's why I disappear into the background or I come up close using speaker track. If I was in a Microsoft Teams meeting, the exact same thing would happen. I've had occasion where customers couldn't join WebEx meetings because security within their organizations had blocked it. So I just sent them a Microsoft Teams invite from here, and I did my whole demo on the Microsoft Teams platform. So that's where we're at from a device agnostic perspective at this moment in time. Okay.